Everybody, Tim Allen here, Chair of the Finance Committee. Can everybody hear me? Out in TV land, you got me, Pat, thanks. So we're gonna open up the Finance Committee meeting for April 8th, 2024. First item we have, let's see who we have here. We have Lindsay, we have Pat Burns, we have from the counselors, we have Tracy, we have LeVar, we have Catering and Zeta here. Thanks, everybody, for coming. I'm not sure I got everybody.
Jose,
Jose is here as well. Sorry, Jose. I don't know. Can you identify, is that Stacy, does it say?
where?
Sequoia Malone, he's our grants manager in the finance office.
Excellent. Hi, McCoy, welcome.
How you doing?
Ella here, how are you?
Good.
And who's that over there?
No.
Hi, good evening. Bob St. Lawrence from the school department for the Office of Information Technology and Accountability.
Great, thank you. Welcome.
And Tim, Lisa D'Souza is also here with me.
Oh, yeah, we got some business with her tonight, I guess. That's great. Thank you. All right, first item we have is February revenue versus expenditure report. I assume Pat Burns will have that one for us. Pat, you all set?
Yes, thank you, Counselor Allen. Tonight I'll be presenting the February revenue versus expenditure report. It represents 8 months of fiscal year 2024. One thing I'd like to point out is in the month of February, we issued commitment 1 of motor vehicle excise tax. This year's commitment was $9,798,000. As a point of comparison, in FY23, commitment 1 was $9,800,000. So the amounts were very close to fiscal year 23.
Is that a good sign for you, Pat?
Yes, we'd like to see, I'd like it to be a little more, but it was very close to the 23 amount. So that bodes well for our revenue estimate.
Great, okay, thank you.
And on the expenditure side, we're not ready yet to close out the snow and ice hired equipment purchase orders. We usually wait till the 2nd or 3rd week of May, just in case. So that's something we're monitoring and we'll be working with the Department of Public Works on.
Okay. Any other concerns, or you're basically okay with how things look at the end of February?
Yes, it's very similar to fiscal year 23, which is a good sign in my estimation.
Okay, that's 2/3 of the year, 8 months, right? So. Okay, any questions for Pat on that report?
I have a question.
Yeah, great.
So for my knowledge, Pat, I'm looking on the first page here, the statement of revenues and other sources. And when I see the revenue side, I see the variance, and I see a lot of the negative. Is that just because of where we're at? We're not through a full fiscal year yet? Yeah.
Right. At this point, we're about 66% through the fiscal year. So we're actually a little ahead of the game.
Yep.
So if you look at the real estate and personal property, we have 3/4 worth of bills that have been issued and were due. So that kind of skews the number upward a little bit.
Okay. All set, Counselor Delgado? Okay. Anyone else with a question?
No, but Tracy has her hand raised.
Oh, yeah, thank you. Okay, Tracy, thank you. Go ahead.
Thank you, Ms. Chair. Pat, my question is, the interest earned on investments are up about $2 million. How did that happen? Where did that come from?
That's just a product of the high interest rates. We've been able to take advantage of this fiscal year. So the treasurer was able to invest in money markets at a much higher rate than we had anticipated. Unfortunately, on the other side, when we're issuing debt, the rate's going to be much higher also. So we're taking advantage on the revenue side, but we're gonna have to pay on the expenditure side.
Did we issue debt already for FY 24?
We're in the process of issuing debt. We're hoping to have that done in June. And the interest rates a little below 5%, whereas a few years ago it was between 2% and 3%. So unfortunately, that's the other side of the coin here.
Gotcha. The expenditure side is really good. It's like the departments are doing great, like really spot on. I just wanted to know about that interest because I wanted to see if it could go to, I wanted to see if it could go to property tax, Pat. But it looks like we're gonna have some other expenses that we're going to accrue with on the bond side. So I would like to see how what those expenses look like when the time comes.
Yeah, it'll be part of the 25 budget.
Capital.
Yeah,
Oh, but okay. All right. Thank you, Pat.
you're welcome.
Pat, if I could just follow up on that, that investment that's looking good, looking better, is that just in our general fund, if you will, or is that in those two? The two bonds that we were buying for tax relief.
Yeah, this is strictly interest income derived off of monies from the general fund. So
It is.
the only investment income that's restricted would be if it was with a stabilization fund, or if it was with a particular grant that calls for a bank account where the interest stays with the grant. So this is our general fund revenue, which as Councilor Whitfield pointed out, is doing very, very well this fiscal year.
Great, that's good. Excellent. Okay, thank you, Pat. Moving on to item 2, COPS, Cops Anti-Heroin Task Force Program Grant. Somebody speak to that?
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Chair. This is a $15,000 increase to our COPS Anti-Heroin Task Force grant. This is from the original $10,000 that we received last September, bringing the new total to $25,000. These funds are to fund the overtime costs associated with the collaboration with the Mass State Police in targeting, investigating, and prosecuting individuals involved in the sale, distribution, and/or trafficking of heroin, fentanyl, opioids, and/or opioids.
Okay. Are you happy with it? Does this look good, a little better than last year? Or
Yeah,
what?
we're doing good on spending. We spent $9,371 to date, so pretty much exhausted that original $10,000 already.
Okay. Anybody else have a comment on that or a question?
I have a question. I'm not sure if you might know the answer to this, Sequoia, but do you know what the funds are being used for? You said it's for overtime for police
Yes.
officers?
Correct. It's for the overtime costs that are associated with the work.
Okay.
With collaboration of the Mass State Police, yes.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Yep.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Anybody, thanks. Anybody else? Okay, thanks for filling us in on that. Moving on to item 3, Springfield City Library donation. Who's got that one?
And there's 2 of them. Can we put them together?
Yep. That's me again, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
Excuse me, we had the 3,000 and then the 100 behind that. If you could speak to both of them, that would be great.
Yeah, no problem. So that $3,000 is a donation from Friends of Springfield Library, Inc. It's not for any specific purpose, but just to be designated for the Springfield City Library Donation Fund. The $100 one is from Rona F. Rosen. Again, no specific purpose, just designated for the Springfield Library Donation Fund.
So it'll just be added to that fund.
Yep.
Okay. Great, thank you. $3,100 there on items 3 and 4. Any other questions for anybody? All right, thank you. Moving along to item 5. The famous item that we get, bills of payment per year, various departments. Would you, Lindsay?
Well, I can speak to that, Counselor.
Yeah, however, okay, great.
3 departments, Health and Human Services election, TJ O'Connor had 3 bills. They only come to a total of $612.58, but they are from prior years. So we do need permission. They have money within their general fund budget this year to pay them, but they need council approval to pay them because they are from a prior year.
Okay,
It's so the chair, such a low amount for the bills in prior years,
Mm.
yeah.
which they're all like that.
Yeah, could you make them all like that, Kathy?
I'll try.
Okay,
I can work on that.
okay, thanks.
And if it's 3 departments, it can't be much of a bill.
Mhm.
All right, anybody have a further question on that? Okay, seeing none, that takes care of item 5. And that moves us to the back page here, 2 items left. Item number 6, the order authorizing a contract over 3 years for the lease purchase financing of school department computers.
Did we already talk about this?
We had one of these a couple of weeks ago. I don't know if this is the same one or not.
Yeah.
No, Counselor, last time we talked about the transportation, you approved them to bid the transportation for 5 years.
All right,
I think some of the school departments here to speak on this.
Yes, this is Bob St. Lawrence. Thank you, Counselor Allen. Yeah, this is I think it's going to be our 10th laptop lease that we've done, and it's been working out great. But this is annually where we have a charge from the school committee to replace our staff and student laptops every 4 years. And so we enter into these 4-year lease agreements that spread the useful life of the devices over that 4-year contract term. And we're requesting your support for the 4-year term this evening.
thank you. Is that, did you say your first name was Bob?
It is, yes.
Yeah, Bob, thank you. You just talk about, I'm presuming that this works out well, but could you give us a little progress report and how many times we've done this, and do we switch vendors, or how much more does it cost? Anything else like that?
Yeah, there hasn't been too many changes, but the devices we're currently purchasing are Hewlett Packard devices. We are going through the Hewlett Packard financial services company for the lease agreement. It has been working out great. Like I said, about the 10th year that we've gone through this process. And again, it's just an opportunity for students in grades 3, 6, and 9 to get a brand new device. And it really puts us on a great cycle for that 4-year turnover.
So just part of your business plan at this point.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. Yes, we have the support of the school committee, and we very much appreciate it.
Thank you. All right, anybody have any questions for Bob?
Well, I think it's great that the kids have access to the computers. It's a
Great.
great program.
Thank you.
Anybody in TV land have a comment? We have a gentleman here in the office.
Yes, good evening, Stephen Howard. I'm not representing the McKnight Neighborhood Council tonight, just as a resident of Springfield. The computers that you'll be replacing, what do you do with the ones that you no longer use?
We try to hold on to the excess devices for as long as we can. It really helps us with the repair life cycle that we have. And then at that point, we turn it over to a recycling program after its useful life is expired.
Okay, have you or are you interested in, say, making donations to have them done by, let's say, a community organization?
Are you asking if the devices that we have that would ultimately be end of life instead of going to recycle, be donated outside of?
Right, to a community organization.
Yeah, there may be some overhead involved that we would have to map out, but certainly if you want to provide some information, I can send my details along, and I'm happy to look into that.
So I guess also Govan will give you that your contact info.
Yeah, send it to the clerk's office, Bob.
Yeah, no problem at all.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Howard.
Good question, good response. Thank you, Bob. Okay, anybody else on that? That gets us to item 7, which is free cash to the law department settlement account for 900,000. Kathy, I think you said you had Lisa there with you, or you guys, can you talk about this item?
I can talk in very general terms, Counselor, but this wasn't posted as executive session, so I'm gonna have to give the details at full council when we go into executive session.
I understand. I figured that, yeah.
I have a general question about that, if I
Yeah.
can, Mr.
Counselor Govan has a question.
I just have a general question about that. So this, the $900,000 is coming from free cash. I thought we had an account set up for these type of settlements. I think there was like $5 million in there. Is that still true? Or did we run out of money in that account?
No, we didn't run out of money on it. That was, I think 2 fiscal years ago, so, and we didn't spend it all during that fiscal year, so it went back into free cash. And then
Okay.
last year, we did not have that same designation. However, I was here a couple of months ago and you did authorize an increase in our professional services account. Which was a pretty significant amount. And additionally, there was one settlement included in that transfer. So that might be what Counselor's thinking of.
That's possible. Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
If I could just follow up on that, as I recall, Lisa, yeah, I think the 5 million was the right amount that I recall, as Counselor Govan said. And then I think at some point it was returned, what hadn't been spent was returned
Yeah.
to finance, to the general fund or something. Could you?
Yes, whatever wasn't spent at the end of that fiscal year was returned to the general fund. And I apologize, I don't recall the exact number, but it was millions that we returned.
Yeah,
For some reason, it might have been 3.25, but I'd have to check myself that we returned.
and can the finance team or Pat or Kathy or Lindsay confirm that that money, when it came back, it's still, is that part of what we call, stabilization reserve, or is it somewhere else, or?
What happened was the $5 million appropriation, I believe we spent about 1.9 million of that. So 3.1 at the end of the year closed back into fund balance and became part of free cash for fiscal year 23, I believe. And that was the year that we had the Eversource settlement. So it kind of was a part of that 67 million. It made up 3 million of that 67 million in free cash.
Okay. Good, thank you, Pat. Any other questions on this? Anything else? You just say whatever else there is to know about this, Lisa, for executive session later.
Yes, I'm afraid I'm constrained to do that.
Yeah, that's fine. Thanks for coming to the meeting and telling us that. I don't see anything else on this agenda. Oh, we got,
Stephen Howard again.
Stephen raising his hand here.
Yes, good evening. My understanding, and please correct me if I'm wrong, this is about opioids. I understand that the opioid situation, the spend of 1.5 million. That's supposed to be in the account right now, where the mayor is asking for reimbursement for the $400,000 that he spent so far. I understand it was brought back to committee. I don't know if this is a committee that it was brought back to.
Yeah.
I'd like to know what the status is on that opioid spend.
There's no decision yet. We have to set up a meeting with Helen Carlton Harris, who is the main person in that realm of our department. Of our city. She runs, her area is responsible for most of the substance abuse things that we do. So we're looking for guidance from her, and I haven't set up a meeting with her yet. So, but I will reach out to her tonight, and we'll have a meeting on that specific, the money that came from the opioid lawsuit and how we proceed with that.
I'd appreciate that, because when I ask, everyone is pointing me back to the Commissioner of Health. But seeing that these funds have been available since 2022, and only spent so far is what the mayor did with distribute with the 3 vehicles and police department. And the way that, seeing that folks are dying from OD, and you know, this may not be the best place to put it, but the condolences, council, on your loss.
Thank you.
So you know, seeing that it's been there since 2022 and nothing's really been done about it, I really appreciate if folks could step up to the plate and make sure that those funds are put on the table. The community outreach that's been recommended for how those how that allocation could be spent should come out, you know, should actually be spent, because people are dying, money is sitting there, you know. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. It's a good point.
Appreciate it.
Thank you. Not seeing anything else on the agenda.
Mr. Chair, I'd just like to, would make the comment for people who might be attending our meeting that items 2, 3, 4, and 5 are under our $50,000 cap and will be probably be taken together and voted on as one.
Right. And Counselor Fenton will be here tonight. I talked with him today. All right, Counselor Edwards, I didn't announce you before, but do you have any comments or anything that you want to add to this, or?
No, thank you for the offer, though.
Thank you. And thanks to everybody who came to the meeting. And from the city council, we had Counselor Edwards, Counselor Click Bruce, Counselor Govan, Counselor Delgado, and Counselor Walsh, and myself, and Whitfield. So that's about 6 of us, so that's good. I will reach. Thank you for coming. So anybody who's on the team, or excuse me, on this committee, which is Counselor Edwards and Counselor Delgado, you make a motion if you want to accept these items or accept them, except for any particular item. Anybody have a?
Motion to accept the items.
Oh, Counselor, before we move on, I just want to put out, I cannot vote on item number 2 just because I'd have to recuse myself of that one, so.
Okay.
So,
Well, if okay, that's fine. We could do,
so if we want to do the other items and move that one out, you know, I'd be happy to second a motion.
okay. Counselor Edwards, do you want to make a motion or?
Motion to accept all items, excluding item 2,
It's a 9, right?
or
We can't vote on 9.
And we can't really discuss item, so I mean, item
9, the last one.
7.
7.
7.
Yeah.
7, 4, 9. All right, I would, so the motion is to accept all the items except item 2 and item 7. I will second that. And did you also, all in favor?
aye.
Counselor Delgado is yes, Counselor Edwards is yes, and I'm a yes. Okay, thanks everybody for attending and helping out. Appreciate it.
Cool.